Welcome to this short introduction to look at the role of the software development groups within ETSI and how they develop collaborative software and open source in support of standardization. ETSI is adapting to a new software-driven world. Having been at the heart of ICT standardization in Europe for the past 40 years and seeing the amount of software in our networks, standards and research is continuously increasing, we have expanded into directly supporting collaborative and open source software development. This is performed in the ETSI software development groups, known as SDGs. The SDGs were added to the ETSI directives back in 2022 with the aim of bringing open source software development and standardization closer together. They are tailored for collaborative software development in support of standardization, with ETSI providing expertise, tools, processes and governance. The group members are free to develop their work program, roadmap and scope. At creation time, they can also choose the type of software license. This creates a truly open community. SDGs are open to ETSI members, non-members, individual contributors and users. Participation is free for ETSI members, SMEs, MEs, universities, public research bodies, user and trade associations, and individuals. Creating a new SDG only requires the support of 4 ETSI members. The ETSI SDGs allow for prototyping experimentation and new use case validation. The development platforms are instantly recognizable to any open source developer, being based on GitLab and Slack, etc. This allows co-development of the code alongside the standards development, both accelerating the standardization cycles and increasing quality. ETSI SDGs build bridges across from the research and standardization communities, as each SDG has a diverse research ecosystem. Research initiatives can not only use and contribute to the code, they also get a window into the world of technical standards that researchers may not have otherwise had. Creating a new SDG is relatively quick and easy. As with many other ETSI committees, to create a new group, you will need the support of at least 4 ETSI members. These are called the founding members, but it should be noted they have exactly the same rights as members joining later. They develop the concept behind the group, and this results in a proposal that covers the background, develops the terms of reference, and motivates the choice of software license. This phase is aided by the ETSI Secretariat, who will help create the formal proposal. The ETSI Director General then consults with the board. If everyone is happy, the DG will approve the proposal and the SDG is created. The whole process only takes a few months. Once the SDG is approved, it is announced on the various ETSI channels and a kick-off meeting is arranged. This is chaired by a convener. The group will elect its leadership group, the chair and vice chairs, appoint a technical steering committee and approve their detailed working procedures at the first meeting. The SDGs are created for an initial period of 2 years. After every term of 2 years, the SDG shall report on the progress made to the ETSI Director General and eventual plans for the next term if an extension is requested. The DG will then consult the extension request with the ETSI board. The SDG detailed working procedures define the structure, technical governance and decision-making processes for code-related activities. The leadership group sits on top. This consists of the chair and vice chairs. Their role is setting the SDG vision, acting as external representatives of the SDG, managing the liaison with external organisations, and coordinating marketing efforts. The Technical Steering Committee is responsible for the overall software architecture, feature prioritisation, and release management. Participation in the TSC is open to representatives of those organisations who contribute most to the SDG. The TSC membership is renewed frequently, every 1 or 2 releases, depending upon the SDG. The leadership group and the TSC chair are elected for a period of 2 years according to the ETSI technical working procedures. The software is developed in module development groups, which are open to corporate and individual contributors, and led by a module development leader appointed by the TSC. Depending upon the size of the SDG and the amount of software developed, there will be more or less MDGs. Finally, we have task forces. Task forces may be created by the leadership group to support specific workloads and or take care of certain activities such as marketing and communication or organising development events such as hackfests. One of the main differences with other open source communities is the close interaction with standardisation, as SDGs not only follow standardisation but also provide regular feedback to the standardisation groups. Other aspects are similar, such as the code development and communication tools. The community meet on a regular basis with conference calls and occasional physical meetings. Major code releases happen twice a year, followed by plenary meetings to discuss and prioritise the scope of the next cycle. The SDG may also run hackfests, webinars, demos, and participate in external events to promote the new features and capabilities in the release, and provide learning opportunities to the user and development communities. As we saw in the previous slide, the interaction between the SDGs and standardisation groups are key to the successful outcome for all parties. In fact, it is not only ETSI technical committees and industry specification groups that can benefit. Feedback to other SDOs and external open source projects also happens. Those interactions extend beyond pure software development. As we will see, each of the SDGs has a rich research ecosystem with close interactions to the European Horizon Research Programme. These projects can use the SDGs as a channel for leveraging and impacting standardisation work. In a similar way, integration and testing activities within external open source projects, development of proof of concept, and participation in interoperability events are very valuable additional sources of feedback, both to the SDG and the related standards. Further details can be found in the Testing and Interoperability course on the ETSI Learning Hub. Open source in ETSI dates back to 2016, when the Open Source Mano project was started. Originally, this is created in an ETSI open source group. This concept was developed over the years, and in 2022, the software development groups were added to the ETSI directives. As of 2026, there are now 5 active SDGs, all of them developing software under the Apache 2.0 license. Keep looking at the ETSI website for further developments and new activities. Let's have a look at some of those projects. Open Source Mano develops an open source management and orchestration stack for network services across cloud platforms. It is the oldest open source community at ETSI, but only became an SDG in 2026. It is closely aligned with the ETSI NFV information model, and over time has been used and received contributions from over 35 research projects. OSM has been integrated and interacts with other open source projects such as OpenStack, Kubernetes, OpenAir Interface, OpenSlice, and TerraFlow SDN. TerraFlow SDN develops an open source cloud native SDN controller, enabling smart connectivity services, automation, and security for future networks. It was created in 2022 and became an SDG in 2024. TerraFlow SDN implements a wide range of IETF specifications and plays a role for validating interconnection, automation, federation, and security concepts developed by ETSI NFV, MEC, ZSM, F5G, and QKD. It has been used by 15 research projects and has been integrated with the open source Mano and OpenSlice. OpenSlice develops an open source operations support system to deliver network as a service. It was started in October 2023. OpenSlice exposes TM Forum's APIs and is aligned with ETSI NFV and ZSM specifications. It has a diverse research ecosystem and has been integrated with a wide range of open source projects such as Silver, Open Source Mano, TerraFlow SDN, OpenCapIF, and Camara. OpenCapIF develops an open source common API framework as defined by 3GPP, allowing it to expose and invoke APIs in a secure and consistent way. The group was created in January 2024. It is closely aligned and contributing to 3GPP and ETSI MEC. OpenCapIF is currently working with 12 research projects in its ecosystem and has been integrated with several API exposers and invokers, both in commercial and open source code. OpenOP develops an open operator platform, allowing for the network and testbed federation and capability exposure to support 5G and 6G experimentation. Despite being the latest of the groups, created in July 2025, the community is rapidly expanding. It is aligned with the GSMA OPG specifications and exposes the Linux Foundation's Camara APIs while consuming 3GPP, ETSI, and Kubernetes APIs. It has been integrated with the 3GPP network exposure functions, and its research ecosystem is also rapidly growing. ETSI provides plenty of opportunities for cross-SDG activities and events. These include cross-SDG labs and demos and joint ecosystem days. The Cross-SDG Lab is a common infrastructure hosted by ETSI, where the different SDGs can deploy, integrate, and test complex scenarios. It's a great example of how the SDGs benefit by working together, aligning approaches, and testing over standardized interfaces. With these practical activities, lessons are continuously being learnt, with feedback going back to the standards development community to improve the specifications. Throughout this course, we've seen that anyone can contribute to the SDGs. However, there are a few differences in starting out, depending on who you work for. In essence, there are three sorts of contributors: individuals with personal email accounts, those who work for non-ETSI members that we call participants, and those who work for an ETSI member. Anyone can access the code at labs.etsi.org, read the documentation, and join the Slack group. Participation in Hackfests or ecosystem days is also open to all. In order to contribute to the code, a contributor account is needed. Organisations join by signing the SDG agreement, which for non-ETSI members may require a yearly fee. Fees are waived for SMEs, universities, public research bodies, and user and trade associations. Once an SDG agreement is signed, the organisational representatives can create an ETSI online account and submit their code contributions. Individual users can create an individual user account on the labs, which allows them to submit bug reports. To contribute to the code, they will need to upgrade their account by accepting the SDG Individual Contributor License Agreement. This completes our look into the software development groups within ETSI. In a nutshell, SDGs are the ideal type of group to support software-driven ecosystems and foster cross-community collaboration amongst standardization, research, and open source initiatives. Please take a look at the code repository in the ETSI labs. These environments are open to everyone. Join us in creating our future together. Thank you.